Hi everyone, welcome back to PrettyWell. Dr. Angela here with you.
Hi, I'm Dr. Patti.
So many of you guys have been asking for different tips, different helpers on how to work on libido for both men and women. And this is February now and Valentine's Day is around the corner. And so we decided to cover the sexy herbs for you guys here in this video. One thing to say, just as with everything we talk about, we really also want to always be thinking about the underlying reason why we're having an issue. So it could be something as simple in the case of libido with just high chronic stress. When we're stressed out, we don't really feel like having sex very much. It's not the highest, point in.
Yeah, if you're running from a bear, what do I always say? Like, we would never in a forest be running from a bear and being like, oh, I haven't had sex with my partner, we should probably do that, or I should eat a snack. Like, the body doesn't want to do both of those things at the same time.
Definitely. And then there could also be other issues where there's just other hormone imbalance issues. Maybe there's some transition in hormones like menopause happening. There could be underlying cardiovascular issues. So whenever something is chronically wrong, we want to get checked out. And the more we know about why we have a condition, the more specific we can get with how we approach something. Because even with the different herbs we're about to talk about, there's a different mechanism of action for many of these. And so if we know what the issue is, like if it's a blood flow issue, we can choose herbs that are better at, bringing more blood to a certain area. If it's, more of a stress issue, we can choose more adaptogen herbs. So just that caveat of trying to treat the underlying cause as often as possible. And with that, we'll get into some fun, sexy herbs for Valentine's Day for you guys. So one of the ones I love to use, I use it very regularly, MACA Root. We've talked about maca in other videos because it's also an adaptogen. So it really is very energizing, gives you a great boost, a lift throughout the day. But it's also very good at raising production of sex hormones. So it helps with more estrogen production. It helps with more testosterone production. It will also do things like raise pregnenolone on labs if you track. And so that helps the adrenals as well. So it's a great overall herb that really does help with libido. One caveat is if there are other hormone problems going on, other like hormonal cancers or other things, just check in with your team if there's other underlying hormonal issues before you choose herbs that are really going to change hormone profile.
And by team, we mean your doctors, not just like
your
little
friends.
group of homies.
Yeah. Yes, thank you for that clarification. So that's maca for you guys. Is there one that comes to mind that you want to talk about?
Yeah, well, you may have heard of this one because it's really talked about in a lot of articles and media a lot, but horny goatweed. And funnily enough, it just has the word horny in there. And legend has it that I think some Chinese farmer saw a bunch of his goats were having more sexual activity because they were eating this herb. And then the name just stuck. And so I do use it with my patients, and it is definitely helpful for raising libido. So this is a common one. And also for men, if you've got erectile dysfunction, that's also been helpful for increasing circulation. And it's also an antioxidant. And it's not going to mean a whole lot because this isn't a video about Chinese medicine, but it is also an herb that's been known to increase kidney yang. So that kind of increases that fire, if you will. So horny goatweed is another one, and fun name.
Very much so we won't forget it.
Yeah. Horny goats. I mean, a hard image to get out of your head.
Yes. Tribulus is another fantastic herb that really helps with libido. In women, there have been some great studies that show that it does quite a function of things, a broad spectrum of things, including definitely increasing libido, but also lubrication. Tribulus does help with ovulation, and so sometimes if progesterone levels are stronger, lubrication is better in women, and so that might be one of the reasons why. And overall sexual satisfaction was better for some women who tried Tribulus. And so, with many of these, you can try things and see how they work for you, but Tribulus is a really good one for women in particular, but men too, but a lot of them really like it.
I've used it a lot in both men and women, so it's interesting all these studies that are coming up. So, but definitely I use Tribulus a lot in my practice as well. And another one is red clover, just known for increasing mood and libido. And it's often used in a lot of female tonic formulas or herbal formulas. I've used it for women for endometriosis and just getting pelvic circulation going. So it's just an overall great herb in that department.
Ginkgo is another really good one. Ginkgo is one that we oftentimes think about for brain health because it really helps with blood flow, moving blood. So it's going to move blood to the brain, but it's also going to move blood to the genitals. It moves blood systemically. And so increasing circulation to all the parts that need arousal is really going to help with having better desire, getting aroused more easily, having orgasm. And so ginkgo's a really fun one to think about, especially if there's circulation issues. On that caveat too, sometimes depression is a reason why we don't really want to have sex.
Absolutely. And then it's compounded because antidepressants or SSRIs,
yes, very true.
Very common side effect to lower your libido even further.
Yeah.
So it's kind of ironic because you may be having some depression and then taking medication that is trying to help that, but then bringing that sex drive down.
Definitely. And so ginkgo is a really good one to think about if there's a history of depression, if blood flow stagnation issues are there as part of the picture. So it's a great one to explore if you haven't tried it already.
And I think adaptogens in general are very helpful for libido because if you're experiencing a lot of stress, if your body's not processing that stress very well, definitely it's going to affect your libido and your connection to your partner, to yourself, and just your overall mood and desire, zest for life, let alone intercourse.
Absolutely.
So all adaptogens to some degree are going to help by supporting that body stress response. But Panax Ginseng is a particular one that great for energy. It's a great lifter, booster, just really tonifying to the system, and for sure helps with libido. And I think it also increases nitric oxide. So that's another way that it's going to also increase circulation and, not necessarily related to libido, but anytime we can kind of increase our nitric oxide production, like better heart health and circulation and blood flow.
Erectile health. Absolutely.
So that's another one is Panax Ginseng.
Yeah. Fenugreek is another really good one. This one's not as obvious. I don't think we think about it at the top of the list, but just like maca, it also really helps with increasing the levels of sex hormones in the body. So again, if there's an underlying issue with hormone balance or like hormone cancers or things like that, be careful because this will raise sex hormone levels, but very helpful for libido, absolutely, and sexual function.
And then what's our last one that you want to mention?
The Yohimbe, is that? Yeah, so Yohimbe is there. This is another one that is really good for men. It really improves blood flow to the penis, and so just great circulation. So will help with orgasm and orgasm dysfunction, any kind of erectile health issues, and overall desire as well.
And that may be one that you may not have heard of. I think many people have heard of Panax Ginseng, Gingko, even Horny goatweed, but that's not always like a super common one. So especially if you're experiencing more circulatory erectile dysfunction, ED type symptoms that's connected to your libido, because you can have physical symptoms where you're not your libido, your mood, and your physical symptoms may not always correlate.
Yeah.
So sometimes they don't always go together. But if erectile dysfunction and libido go hand in hand, then the Yohimbe could be very helpful.
And there's far more that we can do than this list of herbs. There's more we can do for libido. There's more we can do for specific things like erectile dysfunction. And if you guys want more videos on those topics, let us know, and we'll add it to the list of content to make for you guys. But just wanted to give you a great reach. These are very easy to find at the health food store. You can always find, in the description boxes, we always put the information and links and where to get stuff to try for Valentine's Day and just kind of getting your sexy on easily.
Yeah, for sexy time all year long, not just February, and definitely not just Valentine's Day.
It's true.
So have a wonderful, healthy, sexy week ahead, and we will see you back here soon.
Thanks, everyone. See you back here soon.